Hey guys, welcome to my monthly recap. Let's have a look what I watched in May 23. I will pick 5 movies, 1 TV show and 1 hidden gem in the end that you most likely haven't seen yet. But before we start off with some crazy stunt driving performed by Josh Hartnett, please make sure you like the video and follow my account for more movie recommendations. The first one is Operation Fortune from 2023, directed by Guy Ritchie. And of course I was super excited for Guy Ritchie's latest action comedy. A special agent teams up with a Hollywood star on an undercover mission, and the cast is Hugh Grant, Jason Statham and Josh Hartnett. I mean, what possibly could go wrong? Yeah, and then I watched it and actually everything went wrong, unfortunately. Of course, there's some fast-paced humor in it, cool stunts, yes, nice car rides, some Godfather quotes, helicopters, Titanic references, but all of that actually leads to absolutely nowhere, and this film definitely lacks of a plot that makes any sense. So Guy Ritchie definitely can do better, and if you like The Gentleman, maybe put 20% discount on that and you will be fine with this film. But if you're expecting something like Snatch, don't even bother. I rate it with 3.5 on Letterboxd, I guess just for the nice try. I also watched Run from 2020, directed by Anish Chaganty. In this film, we see a teenage girl that is confined to a wheelchair and suffers from medical diseases that unfortunately lead to a lifestyle where she gets homeschooled by her mom and lives more or less in isolation. But once she starts to question her daily routine, something seems very off. This is actually a suspenseful family drama with some very effective horror elements to it. And what I liked the most about it, that it speaks very clearly about self-effectiveness in suppressed environments, and also has one scene where actually cinema is a symbol for a window to the outside world, since actually the only trip that was done outside the house is to the movie theater. So yeah, that was pretty cool. The director in an interview said that he was inspired by films like Rear Window, Misery or Signs, and I would definitely agree that this film has some aspects of all of these in it. So if this sounds like something you might like, definitely go watch it. I rate it with a 4.5 on Letterboxd for being one of the most brutal coming out of age stories. The next one is Fall from 2022, directed by Scott Mann. Becky and Hunter are 2 friends that share their passion for climbing and pushing their limits. But they have definitely pushed their limit too far when they find themselves on a 2,000 feet high tower where they can't get down. They are trapped there and a rough fight for survival begins. So this was a 107-minute long rush of adrenaline, and I think I've never saw the fear of heights on screen so immersively. I really enjoyed the experience with these 2 little MacGyver influencer girls stuck on this tower, because it kept me constantly thinking, okay, how would I react logically, emotionally, but also morally in some situations. Yet Letterboxd somewhat disagrees with me. The rating is not so great, which may also has to do with the design that looks a bit cheap. But all in all, I definitely enjoyed the experience and I would rate it with 4.5 stars. Also because it has like an M. Night Shyamalan-esque twist. Okay, why the hell did I put some unpronounceable words in my script like that? But anyways, speaking of M. Night, I also watched one of his films, the one from 2015, The Visit, in which 2 children meet their grandparents for the first time while their mom is far away on a cruise. And while they get to know their grandparents better and better, everything gets darker and darker and quite weird and disturbing. So this is clearly typical M. Night style and also very, very scary. I mean, horror with children is always tough to watch in my opinion, but in this particular case, it's even harder to see what's happening while you don't know what's wrong with this family for such a long time, and while the characters in the beginning were unlikable, I would say, the more and more they open up to us as an audience, they actually get quite heartwarming and you get really torn into this horror scenario. Also quite nicely were some references that are cleverly put in this film. For example, the oven referring to the old fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel that leads you in a bit different direction of what happens later. And at the peak of the film, I just would like you to watch out for one thing, namely the chicken eggs as a symbol of some diabolic force. We know this from other horror films, and in this case it's so subtle but really well made. I would rate this film with 4 stars out of 5. Just subtract actually 1 star because I think it has a slight tone of age shaming in it. For sure not on purpose, but some scenes you probably wouldn't do in a movie today. And yeah, but all in all, very horrific film, and I still want to take a shower after even speaking about this because at some points it also gets very gross. So yeah, watch it, it's really good. And what else did I watch? The Weatherman from 2005, directed by Gore Verbinski, is, just like the title already tells us, about a weatherman. He tries to improve his career and win his divorced wife back, as well as establishing a better relationship with his children and his dad. But everything he touches goes south. So much to the plot actually. And sorry to all Nick Cage fans out there, I really didn't like this one. I don't understand the editing, I don't understand the character development at all. Why is this film actually even themed with this weather thing if the weatherman not even can predict the weather? I think even Karen Smith in Mean Girls is a better weather presenter, and she only can predict if it's raining while it's raining on her boobs. So yeah, I don't get the overall theme of this film. I don't think it's necessarily funny, but if you are obsessed with Nick Cage performances, then this might entertain you. I actually watched it for a similar reason, since Nick Cage and Nicholas Hoult together in Renfield, the latest vampire comedy, were so great. So if you haven't seen Renfield, please go watch it now and maybe also check out my review about it. But I thought, hey, let's have a look what this duo did together already maybe nearly 20 years ago, and I was quite disappointed. So yeah, I rate this one with 2.5 stars, just given the fact it was not completely meh. My favorite TV show this month was Inside Man from 2022, which is a miniseries about a prisoner on death row that solves murder cases or all sorts of criminal cases actually for strangers just out of his cell. And this was so great. The look is nice, the acting performances are outrageous, and the story super intriguing. But the absolute best aspect for me was the creation of this detective type that actually follows a long tradition of quirky detectives, going back to Edgar Allan Poe's story about the Rue Morgue. I try to speak French here. Rue Morgue, in which a detective solves cases without actually leaving his apartment just by using his rational capabilities. And back then, going back to the philosophy of rationalism, but from which also stem characters we know very well: Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, or Monk. Like, all these quirky detectives go back to this person trapped in, yeah, a limited space. And this is picked up now very cleverly and very unique with this prison setup. And he's not only limited in terms of space, he's also limited in terms of time, since the date for his execution comes closer and closer. So I would definitely recommend you to watch this if you are a crime fan. It is, and I don't want to overstate it here, but it is a bit like Mindhunter, because it has so clever dialogues and this true crime aspect in it. Super strong recommendation here. Okay guys, I also promised you a hidden gem, and there you go. That Day for the Cut, from 2017, directed by Chris Bow, in which a middle-aged farmer in Ireland lives still with his mom, but once the lady gets brutally murdered, he seeks revenge. And why did I pick this one? Okay, we started off this video with a rather lame action comedy, so I thought, what else could we watch in this genre? And that one is much better. Yes, Operation Fortune is more recent, but this one is way more modern. It has multi-layers in the plot. It has deeper and darker humor, the coolest characters, and also quite intense fighting scenes. I mean, like, forget about Evil Dead Rise with this cheese thing. I don't know what it's called, but you know what I mean. Bad Day for the Cut is waiting for you with something way more effective. And yeah, the main character is obviously very brutal, but still you like him a lot, since you totally get why he's doing what he's doing. The side characters are also quite defined and get a lot of room. We have this super hot Bartosz, who's a criminal trying to help his sister. Also a very cool character. And yeah, in terms of filming and editing, design, all in all, it works very well. So please have a look into this one. Let me know in the comments how you think about it. So this was it. Sorry, please excuse the background noise. There's a helicopter out there. I hope it's not Hugh Grant. But anyways, please don't forget to like and follow for more content about especially horror films. I'm currently working on a summer special about the most horrific vacation themed movies. So if you have a suggestion for that, also let me know in the comments, and see you soon. Bye!